Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Let me tell you about Schwank Grills. It's a portable 1500-degree cooking machine. It uses an infrared heat, which is perfect for cooking steaks to perfection in 3 minutes. And Malcolm, we are going to offer our listeners $150 off Schwank Grills. There's a link in the description with a coupon code. Do you know what the coupon code is, Mal?
No.
HowToBBQRight.
All right. So go check out Schwank Grills and get you an infrared steak cooking machine. You can cook other stuff with it too. It's not just for steaks. If you want to do lobster, get in there and do you some lobster. Well, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, and I'm joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. We got Jacob sitting in on the boards today. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Feeling it?
I'm feeling something.
We got a little lunch we got to go knock out here for the Palmer home.
It's been a crazy week.
Yeah, we just flew in. No, we didn't fly in from Atlanta. We got delayed. I'm glad we didn't wait on that plane last night.
Yeah, it got
We'd
canceled.
still been in Atlanta this morning.
Yeah. So last night, about what time did we decide to rent a car and drive home from Atlanta?
3:30.
3:30, 4 o'clock. Yeah.
We went to Roswell, Georgia. We flew over to Atlanta, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Over there for a couple nights. Had some marketing meetings and things like that with the rollout. Good times. But coming back, some storms had hit it. I guess they came home. We had overnight storms at home here, and then by the next day it caught up in Atlanta, and it knocked. Boy, it delayed everything. When we got in the airport. I noticed when we were riding in the van, I saw lightning, and I said, "That ain't good, y'all." Because if there's lightning, you can see it from the airport. They're grounding planes. They've got like this time thing where they have to, like, I don't know if it's 15, 30, how many ever minutes it is.
It's either 15, 20, 30 minutes.
There's a reported lightning strike. The only reason why I know this because I've been on a plane, and it's like, all right, we got lightning, we got to wait. And if it keeps doing it, you're just sitting there.
It resets the clock. So if they see a lightning, they can't take off for 20 minutes or whatever the time is. Every time they see a new lightning strike, they reset that clock.
You know what that does at Atlanta Hartsfield? It is complete chaos because we get in the airport, and we're just in Terminal B. It's just domestic terminal. Nothing crazy. There is wall-to-wall people. There's no seats in the terminal. There's a line for the bathroom. There's a line to the minute suites. Whatever.
There was a line.
You
Yeah,
getting
every
food?
bar.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just crazy. I was like, to get in the Sky Club. I mean, you couldn't even get in there.
There was a line to get on the escalator. It was like herding cattle just to get on the escalator to go down.
Yeah, and so that's crazy too. To go down, there was a line to get on the escalator to go down, get on the escalator to go up. I've never seen it like that.
It was very people-y. It was very, very people-y.
And so I started looking at the windows, and I said, you know what the problem is? They're not moving planes at all. And I never paid attention to the board because we knew we had a time anyway.
Oh, the board was red.
And
it was just delayed.
Everything. And what do we got to note? Our first one was like, all right, your flight's been delayed for 2 hours. And then it was like 3 hours. And then it was like it went to 11:15 board. And we're just sitting around. We're going to have to sit here for 8 hours. And the good thing about us going to Atlanta Airport is it's only a 6-hour drive. So if you
less than that, really. Yeah.
It depends on
so we said
how you hammer down.
I pulled out my phone, went to enterprise.com, said, can we get a
decent vehicle?
A mid-size SUV or something.
They put us in a Jeep something.
Yeah,
I squeezed off in it. I don't know what it was.
It was little.
I squeezed off in it. And I was like, this is going to take us an hour, 2 hours just to get this car. No.
Enterprise is efficient.
We got on that Sky Tram. We went over to that rental car building. We got in there and we got out and we were rolling. We got through Atlanta traffic. Once I got 20, I'd let her eat, son. I had that little Jeep wound up, whatever.
I was like, are you worried you're going to get a ticket? I'll just have to take one.
I was going to go ahead and stroke that check out because we're getting home.
But our crazy week started last weekend when we cooked 30 butts for a catering event.
Yeah. Buddy had a graduation party. Shout out Chuck. He does a lot of good stuff for those graduating seniors. This is the second time he's done it.
So starting Saturday night, Jamie cooked the butts, and then we pulled. I thought it would be so much easier to pull 30 butts. Like I was thinking, Malcolm pulls 15, I pull 15. We can roll through that.
I don't know how long.
An hour.
I've been pulling butts for a long time, and I had never hurt myself pulling butts. I injured both. My thumb still ain't right. I had gloves on. I had white gloves on, nitro gloves on. These butts were so hot. And I guess we were just rolling through them or whatever. I blistered both of my thumbs through the glove.
The nastiest blister I've ever seen. Yeah. It was like an inch long on each thumb.
Yeah, it was like I tried to boil my thumbprints off. I don't know what they're going to do now if I got to go get thumbprinted for something. It's like, what'd you do? It's like, man, butts. That would sound weird too, wouldn't it? I didn't know a butt could do that.
I was just pulling butts. That's definitely a phrase that could be taken out of context.
But they're better now.
So how long did it take us to pull 30 butts? Was it almost 2 hours?
No, it's probably an hour.
Hour and a half.
I mean, we kind of gave ourselves, we went down to the last minute. We did that and panned up 30 beans. Like, you already had the coleslaw portioned.
Because the way we did it is there was 30 families, and each family got like a box of, a meal.
Family pack.
Yeah.
That's what it was. We made you got a pulled butt. You got a pan of beans for, 12 to 15 people, and a pan of coleslaw, and you got 16 buns.
2 sauces.
Yeah. Do we do chips? I don't think we did chips, did we? So you got sauces, and then you got
a
plates
vinegar
and
sauce,
utensils,
regular sauce,
plates and utensils and stuff.
I always have a fear of cooking. Like, we're real careful. We wear gloves. We do all the right things, but I just have this fear, like somebody's gonna find a hair in their food, or I guess that's just somebody's gonna get sick.
How does that work if you give it to them for free?
I don't know.
That's kind of eat at your own risk, isn't it? Got to get over that. I didn't charge you.
So then Tuesday morning we got up and went to Royal Oak.
We got up. We had early. No, our flight wasn't early. It was 11, so it wasn't too bad.
No, we got there that
was
afternoon.
no problem. Watched a movie on a plane. Got over to Atlanta. Breezed out to Roswell. Yeah. Hopped an Uber. Heath was on the plane with us. We talked to him. We shared an Uber. Got over to Royal Oak, and this was basically like a marketing deal where they were bringing in their ambassadors, and I guess I can talk about. There wasn't no top. Did I sign a disclosure? I wouldn't talk about what we talked about.
Yeah, they showed us some products that haven't hit market yet, and they're like, "No, y'all can't talk about these yet." And I was like, "Daggone, Malcolm's gonna."
I'm not gonna talk about anything. You know how I am, though. You tell me something, it's probably just can't stand it. Got to tell somebody. They got some cool new stuff coming though.
Anyway, so we went to the Royal Oak campus, which I guess it's a campus.
Yeah. For a charcoal headquarters, it's pretty dang cool.
It's
got a huge, modern building. But what's awesome about it, there's like this little lake out front. It's all wooded, and there's trails through it. And they've got an outdoor cooking pavilion. And this is where, I guess they entertain out there. That's where they have a lot of their grills, so they can do stuff and showcase their charcoal. When I go there and do filmed, that's where we film. Because it's got a kitchen and has a pretty cool backdrop, and it's just a neat place.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's not what you would expect if you say, I'm going to go to the charcoal headquarters.
Yeah. What do you think of? I think of like an old lot somewhere with cross ties and stuff piled up. And, maybe some trailers or something.
Yeah.
No, this is way more upscale than that.
Yeah, people covered in coal. Yeah.
I wonder if it's like that, like where they manufacture charcoal. Because I think they do it like in Missouri or Arkansas or somewhere.
Yeah, Missouri's their biggest plant.
Yeah. Think they got a big modern building like that there, or is it just an old charcoal office?
I don't know.
That's kind of what I imagine.
Do you think they'd let us go and do like a tour of their factory?
I don't know if that stuff's top trade secret.
Or okay. Yeah.
I think people are going to steal their manufacturing process or something. I've never asked to go to the plant, but it would be pretty interesting to see how I'd like to see how they make charcoal, how they make briquette, how they make lump.
I feel like lump.
Are they doing their charcoal pellets? That's probably a proprietary process because their pellets are different than everybody's because they're like 100% coal.
So they have the supersized briquettes, which you've been using.
That's the one why burn anything else?
Why do you like
that
them?
big briquette? It don't take as much for one. It burns good and hot. It burns a long time. It doesn't make too much ash, and it don't just smoke you out when you fire it up.
Are they the only ones
Something
that
like
have
that? Oh, natural. When you ever light a chimney of it, it'll smoke, Jack. They're all natural. I don't know what's in it, but it makes it smoke.
Are there any other companies that have the supersized briquettes? Is that just a Royal Oak thing?
I mean, I'm trying to think of the other big briquette. It seemed like maybe Jealous Devil's got a big one. I don't know. I hadn't cooked enough with their stuff, and I think B&B may have a larger size too. But there's not a ton of. I don't think Kingsford has a super size. That would be Royal Oaks, like their competitor, top competitor. Those two companies share the market. I mean, they're always vying for spot. And I would imagine Kingsford, they've been around so long, they're the biggest name in charcoal. But Royal Oaks more. To me, it's like that Mossy Oak brand. It's like that Mississippi. It's like
it's family.
It's the everyday man. It's the family. It's not everything else gets the real tree stuff is the one that's like everybody knows, and that's the bag. But if you're cool, you're cooking with Royal Oak. I don't know. I mean, I think Kingsford is just cheaper too. I mean, like they run deals on that 2-pack that's dirt cheap. Like they give it away. That's why people stock up on it.
They did have a cool patriotic bag that I thought was really neat.
Yeah, the limited edition lump bag, red, white, and blue bag. I think you can only get it at Walmart this year.
They said a few Kroger's might have it, but it's kind of like a
exclusive almost.
Walmart,
yeah. So go look for that bag this summer. It ought to be on shelves now. We had to take they had us there for marketing stuff, and we were doing like pictures with the different bags and headshots, and you had to say a little something, and they're piecing together some social media type stuff.
You've also been using the new Flame Saber.
Yeah.
So what's a Flame Saber? Is that what it's called?
Saber. Think of lightsaber, but in real life flame.
Oh, I was like lifesaver.
No.
Flame Saber. That makes so much
it's saber,
better.
like a sword.
So what is it?
It's just a little hand torch. It's a butane torch. Like you fill it up with the stuff like you'd put in Zippo lighters or creme brulee torches, those things. You load it up with that, and you hit it, and it's instantaneous. That thing will hurt you though. It ain't for kids for sure.
When you light tumbleweeds, like I've noticed, because you normally use an aim of flame, and it takes a second.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta hold it there, maybe
clicking on it. No, this thing,
and it's instantly lit.
Instantaneously.
And it looks.
That's my favorite new little grilling tool or toy of 24.
Is the Flame Saber?
Yeah, I think they're like, you can buy them. They're selling them. I know, where'd they tell me? Tractor Supply has them. I don't know if Walmart does or not, but wherever they sell Royal Oak stuff, they'll probably have them. They'll probably have them at Home Depot. I don't know if Lowe's is a Royal Oak place or not, but they might have them at Lowe's.
Speaking of tractor,
like $24, but it's pretty cool lighter. It's not a throwaway. You keep refilling it and using it, so it's more of a tool.
I was surprised with them. They're talking about Tractor Supply starting to build a whole grilling section and trying to add more products and rubs and sauces, and charcoals and things like that.
Yeah, so we got a little insight on the market and how things are going, and charcoal sales are really killing it across the board. I mean, that's a huge sector.
Well, the barbecue market, $1 billion in general, has grown.
Well, I guess the number one, and most people probably know this, the number one barbecue fuel bought is a briquette. And, I mean, that's largely because of Royal Oak and Kingsford. That's what people know to cook on. But the second biggest thing in that category that we saw was lighter fluid. And I was shocked by that. I was like, when's the last time? I don't know when the last time anybody I know has bought a bottle of lighter fluid, but I guess people will go by the average Joe backyard. You'll go get you a bag of charcoal and you'll get you a bottle of lighter fluid and you'll soak it down and light it. I mean, that's how we used to do it.
Yeah.
I hadn't used it in years, but
I think that's how they still do it on the commercials and stuff. Don't they always have
anytime you see it on TV or anything, there's, Uncle Joe's over there squirting down the lighter fluid. That's kind of what you think of, but I guess, that's what people do. So.
Yeah,
But that was a huge market. Lump was down. Not down, but it was down. The category is like total dollar spent across that barbecue fuel category, and then I think like chips and chunks were below that a little bit, below lump. But I think so people using a lump are probably more enthusiasts. Like they probably grill a pretty good bit, and they're looking for specific.
They probably have a higher end.
Yeah, grill. They're not somebody that's just going and grabbing it to cook some burgers and dogs, once a month or a couple times during the summer.
Yeah.
There's somebody that's really working on the recipes. They want to use a little higher end. The average person probably don't use lump. That's what I would think.
I mean, if I had a Weber grill, I'm not going to go buy lump.
I would have liked. I didn't want to bring it up because we're a charcoal business, but I would like to see the numbers versus propane use. Just like from going to the HPB shows and seeing what a lot of these like fireplace or these mom and pop like things, what grills they sell, propane grills are probably way outsell charcoal grills. If I had to imagine, that would just be my guess. But I think that sector of that market would be heavily propane, and that's something we don't think about because we don't cook on it very often. I mean, usually if I'm using propane, maybe on a flat top or a fryer or something like that. But as a propane grill, I don't do it a lot. There's nothing wrong with them. I mean, I've had them in the last one I guess I had was a Napoleon.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome propane grill. But
whatever happened to that old thing?
I gave it to Mr. Fate.
Oh, okay. Does he use it?
Jamie had told me his dad had he had a propane grill and he'd been using it for a long time, but I guess it burned out. You know how they are over years, they play out. And I had that one sitting out back, and I was like, "You think he'd want this grill?" Because they gave it to me, And I was like, "Well, I don't use it very often. I've done a few videos with it, but So he said if he'll use it, and I think he still has it. It was a good grill. Now I've got a new one that I just got.
Propane.
Yeah.
What kind is it?
It's I'm gonna have to get all the details on it. It's a Members Mark Sam's Club grill.
Okay.
What caught my attention on it was like we've got this. It's a thermostatically controlled propane grill.
What does that mean?
So it means it has different functions. You can grill on it. You can kind of set it for low and slow. You can like say you want to hold it at 275.
Okay. Does this thing have a top on it?
Well, it's like
it's just
a
grill.
gas grill. Gas grill.
Well, you said Members Mark. I'm thinking the.
Oh, you're talking about like the event grill? Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. It's an actual, stainless, freestanding 4 or 5 burner with a side burner, like standard grill. But I want to say the price point's like $700, that's pretty dirt cheap for a stainless grill. And for it to, if it does and cooks as good as they say, I'm interested to see how this thermostatically controlled stuff does with it. Like, can I say, we get questions about, would you cook some more ribs on a propane grill? How would you do that? Or can I cook this brisket on? Well, most of the time, yeah, you can, but it ain't really that great because it's just not good heat control. Those grills don't, they're for grilling. They're not really low and slow cookers or something you'd want to, cook what I call like barbecue on, ribs, brisket, butt, stuff like that. It's just not for it. But this one, if you can control that temp and say I could set it at 275 and I knew I could cook me some ribs or something on it, that's the approach I'm going to take at it.
Yeah.
Like if this thing cooks ribs, it's legit. So we're going to see. There'll be more info on that. That video, I hadn't even got the grill put together yet. So I've got.
But how do you get the smoke flavor?
It's not going to have.
Okay.
I could throw a smoke bomb or a smoke tube or something like that off in there. It's not going to be smoked. It's going to be grilled. Okay. It's grilled. Yeah. I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't try to say, I'm smoking on it. But the thing is, can you do it? And propane's a big market.
Yeah. A lot of people use propanes. When they put in nice, fancy outdoor kitchens for people who got a little money, it's always a propane grill.
Always. No joke. If you ever get a chance to go to one of those trade shows, just pay attention to how many different models and brands of gas grills there are out there.
I was surprised. Was it the one in Vegas or the one in Nashville we went to? But there was like, I don't know, 2% of the grills there were, pellets or charcoal or something like that. And then the other 90%
all propane.
Were all propane. They did say when we were at Royal Oak about how the tumbleweeds, how big they've grown in the past few years.
Yeah, in 5 years.
Yeah. Did they put them out 5 years ago?
So they didn't come up with that product, as far as I know, was when I first started getting them, it was actually a Frontier brand. And I think Royal Oak bought the Frontier brand. I don't know if they started or bought it, but I know they have it now. And so when I first started using them, they were actually like Frontier tumbleweeds. And then they rebranded it to Royal Oak. So I'm pretty sure that Royal Oak bought that company or something.
Back in the day, you would use like a wax cube.
Yeah, because Weber made some.
Yeah.
They were like paraffin wax.
Did they have like a lighter fluid type in that wax?
It had to be. That's all it was. It was like a wax with some kind of igniting fluid in it. and you put a couple of those in, but man, they always crumbled up and
Oh yeah, they were
they were a
horrible.
mess, and they weren't, you couldn't close them up good because it was like a little full pouch. You try to punch them out, and they'd all break up. I mean, they work. I used them for a long time, but once I found that Tumbleweed product, but this is too easy. I've been using them strictly anytime I start a fire for probably 5 or 6 years since I started doing stuff with royal oak.
And they've gotten wet, and we've dried them out and used them.
Yeah,
They've got
water don't
torn-
seem to bother them
yeah.
as bad.
They've gotten torn up. They've set in the heat. They've done, they're good to go.
They're good to go. That's a good product. I'm not surprised that one is done as well as it has because it's not an expensive product. You don't have to use lighter fluid. You just stick those under a chimney or make a pile and light them up
So
with the flame saber.
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 There was a bunch of other pitmasters there, like
Mhm.
some big names. You may give you the list?
Sure.
Okay. Leslie from Ubon's, Heath Riles, Fergie from Fergalicious Barbecue, Mike from Sugarfire Smokehouse, Megan from Burnt Finger Barbecue, Misty from Seattle Butcher's Wife, Barbecue Ninja, Craig. I think
Corporate Craig was there.
it's
Ninja Craig came out a little bit, but Corporate Craig was there a lot.
Al Fergoni, Robert Sierra, which Robert Sierra might be the coolest man in barbecue.
He's pretty dang cool, man.
Matt from Pig Beach, Owen from A Wee Bit Quirky Barbecue, and Victor from Super Skewers in Oregon.
He's got a cool story too. Victor Perez does.
What was his story? I didn't.
He started in his garage making skewers. Meat like you think of anything like
Not like little.
he makes all sizes,
Okay.
yeah. But mainly it's for cooking over live fire. So he's all about making a saber, putting a bunch of meat on it and sticking it over some fire. And that's the kind of style he's cooking. It's not like barbecue like we know it, smoking and stuff. He's live fire cooking, a lot like what Al does. So they do a lot of that, like a side of cross stuff and, just cooking over an open fire pit. But he's actually Victor has a restaurant in Oregon. I don't remember what town it was.
The Inferno Kitchen.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah. But I guess he's doing a lot of, and he does a lot of like catering events and stuff. And that's kind of what got him into it.
The whole live fire cooking thing, I'm really interested in because you've never done too much of it,
Yeah.
You've always used grills for the most
Or
part.
smokers.
Yeah, smokers. But Victor and Al Fergoni that's their thing.
I talked to Al a ton, and I'm excited. I've been a super fan of his products for a long time. I mean, that chimichurri seasoning that you can make a good chimichurri sauce with, it's a game changer for me. I mean, I use it as a seasoning. Anytime I want to put herbs on anything, it gets some of that. And then just as a making a quick sauce to dip any kind of grilled beef or anything in, it makes a great little chimichurri sauce. And so that's how I got to know him. I think we met him at Memphis in May. He was with some other group, and he just came by and introduced himself. And I was like, "You're the man." And I always thought that was cool. Is there any other product out there like that? And so I got to meet him and hang out with him. He's like, man, and he goes all over and cooks.
He's from Argentina.
Yeah. He's an interesting story. He lives in Texas, and he has like a whole like film house in Texas that he does all this live fire cooking at. He's like, anytime y'all want to come over and do something, I was like, man, we got to get you to the smokehouse too. So, because I've got an Argentine style, that crank it up grill that I have, and I've had it for a year or two now.
That's Santa Maria?
I mean,
Argentina.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what it is. I mean, when I say it, I mean, I guess some people would say just a Santa Maria grill is just any kind of grate that you can raise up with that wheel on a cable and build a fire under it. What takes it like to the Argentine style grill to me is when it has the little place on the side where you kind of build your fire and you make your coals and you use those coals to move over and cook underneath the grate that goes up and down. But all it is open fire cooking.
So when they create like a pit almost in the ground and build a big fire and then have those like cross ties.
Yeah. Or the iron crosses,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
I mean, I still think that's like, and because I don't really know, but when they say asado style cooking, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll make a ring or they'll have some kind of fire pit and they'll put the meat, on the cross and it's like, so basically if you think of a steel rod with a T at the top of it to where it can support like the shoulders of whatever critter you're cooking and they wire it to it. And that way, when it's on that cross, that, the iron spick kind of thing. They can move it around, flip it, baste it, move the coals from side to side, and it's probably one of the more primal cooking methods that there is, because you've just got a pile of fire and meat hung up, kind of close to it. And so there's no, we're trying to get 350 and cook. You're cooking, man. You're just out there by feel. And that's kind of what I was talking to Al and Victor about. And a lot of that cooking's by feel. Like, because there's so many, when you just got open fire out, there's so many variables, like what's the wind doing? What temperature is it? How close do you need to get the meat to the fire? What's the humidity like? All that stuff goes into account, and you don't even think about it. So because it can be different every day.
You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably just drink a lot of cerveza and go out there and go to cooking.
That's how you would do it.
Yeah. Is that better than something cooked on a grill or in a smoker? I don't know.
I'd like to try it and compare.
Yeah. It looks cool. It looks really cool. But you know how some of that stuff is, like, it's hard. Like, when you're cooking a whole cut of animal, there's a whole bunch of different muscles in there that probably need to go to different temperatures. And when you just got it out there with some fire, you're just getting it all done, chopping it all up.
Yeah,
That's
that's what you're doing, getting it all done, chopping it up.
At the end of the day, it's just the process.
But you got to be getting that awesome, like,
you're getting good flavor now. You're getting some real flavor. It's authentic.
But that was a good group of people. And it's good to talk to other people and see what's going on. We talked about going to Pig Beach for their big event. What they call it, Brisket King in New York.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's what they call it, though.
Oh, okay.
We need to check into that.
Okay.
They just had it back a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it's like a ticketed type event where all these pit masters come and cook something. I think whoever the Brisket King is one of the main ones that's helped put it on.
Oh, gotcha.
But I don't think that's like
the name of the event.
Yeah, I don't think that's the name of the event. I really don't know what the name of the event is. That was new to me. I never heard of it. But that was cool.
I want to go.
I want to go next year. Yeah, I definitely want to go.
But we had a great time hanging out with those people, talking. It's good to talk to other people that are in the industry that you don't get to talk to as much. What's your experience? How are you dealing with this?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
Well, I mean, the collab stuff, that's stuff we've always wanted to do more of, but it's like you run into daily life and it's hard to get on schedule and stuff. So we do it when we can. But for me, I learn from other. I'm one of those type people, man. I always want to learn something. So if I can get surrounded by people that are doing it, doing it better than I am, man, that's all day. I'm soaking it up. I'm seeing what they're talking about. I want to, what's your business like? What are you seeing from your fans and getting ideas and things like that? I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and you mostly want to talk barbecue and how you cook stuff and what smoker you got.
Anyway, that's usually my question. Like, what are you cooking on? And then when it's something different, I'm really, got questions.
Tell me more.
Yeah, tell me more. That's interesting to me.
And Leslie from U-Bonds is just right down the road. I'd love to get her on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's talking about putting a book together of the history of the barbecue culture.
I thought that was like when you told her she should start she's perfect for a podcast.
I think so.
So you was like, that would be a great way because she's wanting to do research and tell like the history of barbecue from her side, her family side. And that's such a good story. And they've been doing it for decades and they know so many people that there's going to be a lot of sit down interviews. And so for her to do it from a podcast, like start a podcast, have those people on there, you're doing research, you've got all of it recorded, you can go back and listen to it, then you can put it into words and, write it down into print.
And you're building.
And you're you're making buzz about it, doing the podcast. Especially, and she's got a personality for podcasts too. So.
Yeah, she's a barbecue princess. I think now would be a good time to pay some bills.
All right. The How to Barbecue Right podcast is brought to you by our friends at Primo Grills. Shell, did you know that Primo is the only ceramic grill made right here in the good old USA?
What? Are you telling me that Primo Grills are proudly crafted here in the USA, ensuring top-notch quality and support for local craftsmanship?
I sure am. Plus, Primo Grill not only delivers mouth-watering flavor, but because of their innovative oval design and superior ceramic construction, Primo Grills also gives you a ton of cooking versatility.
Whether you're smoking low and slow or searing a steak to perfection, Primo Grills gives you the consistent heat distribution for mouth-watering results every time.
What she said, y'all. Y'all visit PrimoGrill.com and check them out. We did go to a cool brewery when we were I guess it was that in Roswell or Alpharetta.
It was in that area. Yeah.
They had set up, and it was the most unique thing. It was like it's a new brewery where they're making their own, I guess, craft beers, but then the food menu was like all Mexican food. So we had like this fajita bar, and it was really, really good.
Guacamole, cheese
but
dip.
The margaritas they made were
fire.
Yeah, they were by the glass. They weren't like pre-mixed, no sweet and sour stuff. This was like
it was like lime juice, agave,
salt, tequila, some triple sec or some Grand Marnier or something.
They were
good. I like the two beers we had. There was an IPA, and usually like IPA is a little much for me. I'm more of a cheap domestic guy. But it was really good. And then they had a blonde ale. That was another one. I was like, it's close to Miller Lite. I don't know if y'all were trying to do that, but it's pretty close.
I liked both their beers.
Yeah, they were good. What was that place called? Do you remember?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't tell you either.
Somebody else.
I know they they put us in a van and shuttled us over there.
We did get to have a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit.
That was
for breakfast.
Can't go wrong. If you're in Atlanta, you got to have Chick-fil-A, right?
I hadn't had a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit in so long. It was so daggum good. Do you add mayonnaise to a breakfast sandwich?
Mayonnaise don't go on breakfast. You eat mayonnaise for breakfast?
I mean, I would, but no.
Like a sausage and biscuit or sausage egg and cheese.
No. I don't think so.
But you're talking about, so you're thinking Chick-fil-A biscuit, that would be appropriate for mayonnaise?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe you need to
I was just wondering.
Maybe you need to take some Blue Plate, stir up some sausage seasoning in it, and you got breakfast nays.
Breakfast aioli?
Yeah, or something like that. It'd go good with eggs.
I don't think biscuits need mayonnaise.
They need butter.
Yeah, they need butter. They don't need mayonnaise.
I just don't think of sauce like that. If I was here's where I would, if I was making a breakfast burrito, I could see having a creamy sauce to go with that.
Me too.
That would work.
Burrito.
But
or if you do a toast, egg, and something,
you could use some mayonnaise to like make a grilled cheese for breakfast.
Yeah, so
something like that. Like, say if I make a grilled sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich or something, I could see a little mayonnaise on that.
My grandmother used to make egg sandwiches for my grandfather. He loved them, and she'd put mayonnaise on them.
Yeah.
So it's toast, mayonnaise, egg.
I've had that. My dad used to make those too. Fried egg.
No, this is scrambled egg.
Oh, yeah. My dad would do a fried egg sandwich, but it would be like a hard fried egg. It wouldn't be runny.
Yeah.
And then he would put a piece of cheese over it, and then on the bread it would be mayonnaise. It would be toast. It'd be like a toasted fried egg sandwich.
For one of the lunches we had, they like catered in McAllister's, which is like a sandwich shop. And they
deli.
Deli. They did have little mayonnaise packets for your sandwich, but it wasn't Blue Plate.
Yeah.
And you could tell the difference.
I didn't. I had a Southwest kind of wrap or something, so it didn't need mayonnaise.
What?
Should I say, I needed Blue Plate too? I was good. I guess they had a
wraps
Southwest
need mayonnaise too.
salsa on it or something.
Need Blue Plate. So today we're actually cooking for 350 people for the Palmer. This has been a crazy week. This is, catering gig.
We catered last weekend. Yeah, then we went to business trip and we come right back to it again.
So we're doing Palmer Home's doing a
What are you cooking
fundraiser.
for 350? How much coleslaw is that going to take?
We figured it out. We did the numbers. I'm not sure exactly.
How many pounds it was? I want to say it was like, was it 14 2-pound bags? So that's 28 pounds. And then 7 5-pounders. So that's another 35 pounds. What is that?
What's
13 to 60 something? Yeah, that's a lot.
Would you say 60 pounds? 60 something pounds
of coleslaw. That included the little 4-ounce packets of stuff you put in there and some seasoning.
The beans. We got beans.
So it's 14 5-pound cans of beans.
Basically.
And then a bunch of pork.
Yeah.
40 butts.
It's a pulled pork.
Yeah.
We are going to have chips. So you get pulled pork sandwich, a bag of chips, coleslaw, beans.
Yep. And some bread. Is it just a bun to make a sandwich?
Just a bun. So as soon as we wrap up this, we're going to start pulling more pork.
I bet you I'll double glove up today.
I think your black gloves had a hole in them.
I'm going to tell you what happened. The white gloves I put on were those little small ones that you'd bought for Michael when he was a kid. But it's the only pair I could find. So I put them on these big old hands. Then I put the black gloves, and I didn't have my normal brand of black glove. I don't know where.
Yeah,
I think it was like a sample box. Those didn't sample right. They burnt the crap out of me. But I don't know how.
You think your knit was pulled through?
I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, but it definitely got both of my. Have you ever had a thumb blister? Let me know.
Double thumb blister.
Yeah, both of them. It looks like I grabbed something hot with my thumbs and pinched it or something. But no other finger did it, just the 2 thumbs. I knew something was wrong when I got through, and it was like burning. I was like, man, I've done something to myself. And then it wasn't 2 hours later, they swelled up.
To me, if you've got your black gloves on and it gets a leak in there or bust some kind of way, and that liquid gets under that white cotton, ooh, there is nothing worse. You come out of gloves quick.
I'm going to tell you what happened. So I did most of the pulling because you did the doctoring and the panning. And we started out, we were both just sit down with a butt, get through it, do the whole thing, pass it. And I was like, this ain't going to work. It's going to take forever this way. I'm going to muscle them out, get them going, get them pulled, and you're going to take them, doctor them, get them in the pan, we're turning them in, put them in the Cambro.
So we
had a little
assembly line.
Yeah. And so I was getting in there, busting out that hot, and where they were the hottest was underneath that fat cap. And I always took my 2 thumbs and I kind of slide it under there, take it off, because I like setting that fat cap to the side, pulling out all that, what we call the bacon meat of a butt, pulling all that out, and then tossing the fat. I try to separate everything pretty good.
So how do you pull a butt?
Do you want the fast way, or like how I would, like if I was doing it for the best way? I mean,
the best way.
I do it by the muscle. First I go in, I slide the fat. I always cook them fat cap up just so that fat kind of drips over it and it renders, and that's the way I like to do it. But I take that off and get all that good meat in that layer of fat, put it to the side.
Because it goes fat, meat,
more fat.
And in between those 2 fat pockets is the best meat on that.
So once I take that off, I'll take my hand and whatever fats that are rendering, right there on top, I'll kind of rake it down that fat seam. There's a seam in a butt that holds like the front half of the butt to the back half where the blade bone is. And that seam is usually some pretty good fat. So if it's rendered right, it's all hot liquid and there ain't much fat to take off. You just kind of push it to the side, and then you can kind of start seeing the muscles. And I take my fingers and I just kind of separate out each muscle, and I take it apart and set them aside. So I end up with a pan of about eight big muscle groups. And then I'll take the bone out, put it to the side. And so I've got the horn meat and that back meat that's on the underside, and I've got the tubes in the butt, and I got the money muscle up front, and it's all kind of separated out. Then I can take my hands and start working it and pulling it. And once I get it all pulled, I kind of start combining it a little bit together. And usually that's when you come in and you'll season it with a little AP, maybe a little barbecue rub, depending, but we taste it and see if it needs something. And then a lot of times you'll even drizzle a little bit of sauce over it.
Not enough to make it saucy.
No, just enough to give it a pop of flavor.
Yeah.
And then it'll go in whatever container we're going to serve it in, or a bag, or vacuum seal it, or whatever.
The key is you don't want to put so much seasoning and sauce on it that it looks like it has been doctored, is what we call it. But
that's
enough
right.
that you get a little
There's flavor.
Yeah.
But the fast way, the fastest way, you take that fat cap off, sling it to the side, grab that meat, put it over there, grab the blade bone out, and then the long end of the blade bone, you hold it like a daggum spade or a shovel, and you just pop that butt about 6 times all the way down it, and it'll shred it for you right there. Then you go back in with your hands, pick it a few times, grab out any big fat chunk, pass it on, and you could do that 20 seconds. But if that butt's cooked right, that bone, it comes with a puller. And all it is that blade bone. You use that one, like kind of knuckly into that blade bone, and you just hit that thing, and it'll shred it. It works fast.
You do end up with a little more possible.
Well, you miss some stuff. Like there's going to be some, but see, I get people that ask for the fat. Like they want some fat. They want the bark in there. They want it. I mean, pulled and crunchy is how I like to order my pork. I don't want a lot of fat in it. But some people want some fat in it, so they say leave it in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but when you're getting at a restaurant, a lot of times they're running it through a chopper, or they've got one of those pullers on a drill or something, or shredder, and they're just doing all of it. It's all mixed in. So
I don't like those shredders because I feel like it affects the texture.
Yeah, it gets it too stringy.
Mm-hmm.
You lose by hand is much better.
Yeah.
And using that little bone method keeps a ton of juice in there. But so when Jamie cooked these, like when they got done, I mean, there were no wrap butts. You just put them on the big ELEDXO hickory and let them run overnight. The next day, you take them off. Instead of wrapping them individually, we panned them. You use more pans that way, but if you got to pull it for an event, it's already in the pan. So when you take it out of your Cambro box or cooler or whatever you're storing them in, they stay in hot. You've got them in a pan. All you do is take the top full off, shred them in that pan, and then you can put them in a Ziploc bag or vacuum seal bag or put a lid on the pan or move them to something else, whatever you're doing. It's real easy. That's why I like that pan method versus wrapping it all up tight as soon as it comes off the grill. Then you got to unwrap it, deal with all that excess foil.
I mean, if you're just giving it to someone, like if you're wrapping it,
like a fundraiser,
yeah,
we're giving it to them in a T-shirt bag wrapped in full.
Yeah,
not doing that pan expense because that pan's 15, 20 cents a pan. When you're doing a bunch of butts, that adds up.
Yeah, when you're doing hundreds, for a fundraiser, yeah. But when you put it in that pan and put the full on it and Cambro it, it collects a little juice in the bottom.
But that's good juice, though.
Yes,
because it mixes back with it and you keep that moisture. Because when you do it in the full, a lot of times you lose all that.
But
and it makes it it's really cleaner in the pan. It holds it better. You don't have to worry about spillage as much.
Leaking, yeah. But it collects that juice, and you can mix that juice back in with the pork, and it just makes it extra juicy. But yeah, we were rolling through some butts. So now you ready to pull some more butts?
I'm ready. You
want a Band-Aid?
I've got calluses now. There's this back to tough. I know what it is. I've been too lazy. I hadn't been working my hands as much as I need to pulling hot meat. I've been letting other people do it. I got to get back in there. Got to build them calluses back up. When I worked when I used to work in fast food as a kid, we'd have competition to see how long you could keep your fingers in the hot grease.
Oh God!
It was just like a manly thing to do. Like, can you take it? Because you couldn't.
It's real manly. Gets all.
Do you get bored at fast food restaurants? Maybe that was just us at Sonic. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that or not. But them fingertips get numb. You can touch that hot stuff and don't even feel it.
Greg Grimpy sent over a clip of Chris Young talking about resting. Because you always talk about resting and how important resting was and stuff. So we listened to it.
He got scientific about it. I'm no scientist.
Yeah.
I just know that it makes it, especially in your bigger meats, that rest is all about. I don't know. I mean, of course, it's not like soaking back up all the juices and all that. But the way I understand the cooking process, all you're doing is taking moisture out of meat. That's what cooking, because, I mean, think about how much of that muscle is water or, moisture. It's probably 75, 80% of it. And you're taking that out of it and cooking it to a done stage. And so when you stop it, the moisture, I mean, I ain't saying it soaks it back up like a sponge, but it does stay it's like it relaxes and it calms down and stays, it stays juicy, it stays moist, and the mouth feels better. On a thin steak, I don't think it matters that much.
I don't like to really rest steaks that much.
But thicker ones you do. I mean, I still don't rest it that long.
But this guy, Chris Young, he only talked about hot searing steaks.
Yeah.
Smaller cuts of meat. He didn't talk about low and slow or any of that. So I feel like those are two different
things.
Conversations about resting.
What got me was the carryover, but they were really, really monitoring it with some super thermometers, I guess. But he was getting like 14 to 15 degrees of carryover. So to cook like a medium rare steak, he's stopping at like 120 and it's still going. Like one of them, the time went, I guess it was a thin steak, but it went to like well done.
Yeah.
Like 147.
Yeah.
So that was kind of shocking. And this isn't like covered up. When it's done, he's just putting it on a rack and setting it on the counter, like not doing anything, just letting it carry over.
Hang, yeah.
But
do you also
the thing is like it's so easy to overcook it by letting it rest like that. Should you really have to let it rest, or do you want to take it to the plate and eat it right away?
See, when you cook a ribeye, just a general ribeye, maybe what would you say that's one
inch and a half, inch and a quarter? I mean, that's pretty much like a 16 to 18 ounce ribeye. When you go to the store, tell them you want an inch and a quarter. That's like the spec for SCA, I think. It's what they say, cut them out.
Which is the kind of steak I want to eat. Yeah. That's about where I want to eat it. I don't want it resting. But by the time you bring it in from the house, put it on the plate.
It has rested, yeah. I mean, it's not like you're sitting at the grill with the bib and a fork and a knife, just ready to eat it right there on the grate. You know, you're usually putting them on a platter, taking them inside, getting your baked potato out, doctoring it up, making a salad, sitting down at the table, saying grace, and then so it's probably been 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I never put a clock to it, but I would guess, and that's about where you want to eat it.
I want it hot.
I can't stand to let a steak rest. It's hard. Like, even when I'm doing videos and I say, all right, you got to let this rest 10 minutes. I'm never letting that rest 10 minutes. I think this fat boy's waiting on something to eat that. It looks that good. There ain't no way.
But when you're cooking bigger cuts.
I always do. Like a brisket, like a butt, even ribs. I'd argue with anybody that ribs are better over the rest. You take them right off a pit and eat them, and you give me 1 hour. Let them sit there and then do them. I mean, it's night and day.
I agree.
It's night and day.
Do you think environmental factors affect carryover? Like, I just thought about this.
I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that does.
If you're in a, dry climate, and we're in a humid climate, what
happens there?
Yeah, what happens there?
It has to. It has to.
But his big takeaway was take your steak to 10 to 15 degrees less than what you want it to.
Than where you want to eat it.
Yeah. Monitor it with a probe the entire time. As soon as it hits that below target temp, pull it off and let it rest until it reaches your if you're shooting for 130. When it hits 130, then
eat it. Yeah. And his thing was cut it right away too. Because as soon as you cut it, it gives surface area for that heat to leave or whatever.
Yeah,
so it stops that carryover. Now you're gonna have some juice on the plate, but you're gonna have that anyway.
Yeah.
And that was his thing. He was weighing them and seeing how much juice like come out during the rest or when you cut it. I mean, there was some
interesting stuff.
Yeah.
A little over my head.
Way over my head. I just want to cook it and eat it.
But when he did say, even if you're like putting it on a plate, once you hit that doneness, even just cutting it in half stops the rest.
So when you go to a restaurant or any place where somebody's serving you a steak, do you want them to cut it, or do you want to be the one to cut it?
Don't cut it.
Yeah. Maybe they need to come out with these little. Do you remember how? Do you remember how when you go to a steak restaurant back in the day, and they would have these little plastic things that would be like rare, pink, medium, and then would be gray or brown. And there were these little plastic things that stuck in there. What if they had little thermometers? But when it come out, you saw that internal. And like you cut it, you let it sit here, you cut it to where you want it. It's going. It's going to well done. But you got to watch it. Now that's where you want to eat it. This is where they eat it.
That's a good idea.
That way a restaurant never mess up. They had that internal. Nope, it's right there.
I'm pretty sure they'd mess up. A lot of times I'll order my steak rare.
Yeah.
Because I want it medium rare. And
it's going to sit in the pass. It's going to, you might not get to it. I don't want nobody to cut it up for me. That's why when I see them, like, what's that famous steakhouse in New York? Is it Morton's or one of the Peter Luger's or something?
Yeah.
Where they come out and they cut it all up for you table side. I was like, man, I don't want you cutting my steak, dude.
I want that.
You give me that piece of meat. I'm going to take care of that.
I want that on my plate.
Yeah, I want all that juice. There's nothing. I hate going to a restaurant where they fancy it up so much and they bring your steak out. It's like on a board or something that won't hold the juice. And it's no.
We went to a steakhouse in the past month.
Yeah, it was like
past few weeks ago, and they served you your steak on a
cutting board,
on a wooden cutting board. So as soon as you cut into it, there's no sopping up the juice with your bread.
It's just gone into that old board and runs off in your lap. I was like, man, this is dumb. At least give me some kind of trough to catch that in. Throw some extra butter on there to make a sauce.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Everybody keeps talking about you cooking camel.
Yeah,
everybody keeps like,
when you cooking camel.
When you cooking that camel, can I come over and try it?
I don't know how many people at the graduation event was like, man, let me know when you're cooking that camel. I'm gonna come eat it. I'm gonna cook it. There's no doubt about it.
Have you done any research? You really hadn't had time this week.
Yeah, I've been blowing and going ever since that meat showed up. I don't even think I was here when it showed up. I was out of town when it showed up.
Are you cooking it next week?
That might be the end of the month.
Okay.
Got some folks coming. We could get some good content cooking that camel.
Who's coming?
I don't know all their names. You got a list.
Oh, okay. Oh.
That'd be a great place to do it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I actually talked to Al about it. I said, "You ever cook camel?" He's like, "No, I don't don't think he said he ever cooked it, but he would.
So I got a couple.
Camel seems like it would be an open fire meat, don't it?
Yeah, like traditionally. Yeah.
Like, how would you cook it? It ain't like you had.
I mean, traditionally every meat's open fire meat. So I got a few questions from the community to wrap up.
All right.
Got a few minutes. Sean asked, how does everybody store all their barbecue accessories? They're looking for a storage.
Totes. Barbecue totes. Clear ones are the best because you can see what's in them. But
Yeah,
that's
that's
usually
true.
how my garage is. Now it's a cluster now.
I was fixing to say, you put
And
them
it's that time to go
everywhere.
through it. But that's where, I mean, I usually I'll keep me some clear totes. Well, they're great for grabbing. Like if I got to go somewhere, you throw them in the truck. Everything's staying dry in there. It's got a lockdown lid on it. But everything goes in a tote. And you can take Sharpies or masking tape and write on it what's in there. You know what you got.
Totes are cheap too.
And totes are cheap. So I would say that's the best way to do it.
That's good. Somebody recommended a pull box or a deck box.
Outside. Yeah. If you're not going anywhere with it, that's a great. Those like, they're not,
You gotta
are they
clean
Rubbermaid or I don't know what brand it is. You can find them at Sam's or Lowe's or.
Yeah, for
any
like
of those-
$100,
Yeah, they're
$150.
not bad.
Somebody else recommended those rolling carts. I bought you one that goes beside your Blackstone.
Yeah, that's a handy little deal.
Yeah,
It's got a little storage on it. It's got a flat prep surface on it. That one's handy.
And that was
what's the one we
$200
bought? Michael one. We called it. This was like it's more of a pop-up handle type toolbox where it comes apart and you got different places to put
and
stuff.
it's rolling.
And it rolls. Those things are pretty handy too for your smaller stuff. I mean, they'll hold a lot, but you're not going to store charcoal. Or
A lot of
anything
the
like that in
steak
'em.
cooking guys
would use those. Yeah.
because you can put your thermal pins and your gloves and your seasonings and
Twine and anything.
knives and put
Lighters,
it all in there.
flame sabers, and
I guess it depends on
tumbleweeds.
how big your barbecue accessories are.
it really does.
What are we
But
talking
Yeah,
about?
what are we talking here? We talking shovels and axes, or are we talking, grill brushes and cleaners? Because I have like a cleaning tote that's got all my degreasers and old rags and scrapers and stuff for cleaning the grills. Then I like a cooking one that's got all my cooking supplies, and then I have one for all the metal stuff. It'll have skewers and the vortexes and things like that. Anything that's kind of metal heavier goes in one. I try to keep it separated where I know that I got one that's nothing but like thermometers and probes, and I've got nothing that's one that's seasonings and sauces. I mean, they're all different totes of stuff.
And if you could put them back where they go after
That would
you
be
use
great.
'em.
Yeah,
It's a great
Never happens.
system.
it's a great system. End up all mixed.
Ramey made a comment and said St. Louis style is way better than baby back.
Let's argue. Sometimes.
I'd say definitely.
You say ribeyes are much better than filet mignons. They're two different things. Two different things.
I do think ribeyes are much better than filet mignon.
Really?
Heck yeah.
Sometimes, but not always.
Same for the St. Louis style baby back. Same reason I like the St. Louis
Fat's where it's at. That's why you like me. I'm more ribeye.
Who said I like you?
Yeah, I'm more beef cheek.
I love beef
What
cheek.
cut would you be? I'd probably be beef cheek. Point brisket.
So Ryan commented on how you pronounce.
Birria.
Oh, you said it right.
I've been working on it. Everybody's been giving me hell. It's birria.
Birria. So he said,
Oh, when I get this turkey calendar, I'll be able to roll the Mars and everything. I'm starting to work on it.
"Oh, look at you."
Birria.
Yeah, but he said it's pronounced
Birria. Birria.
So you got it.
It's not Berea.
Berea.
Man, in the South, we say a lot of stuff wrong. You stick around, you're going to pick up on all kinds of things, y'all.
I'm pretty sure we pronounce Alfregani's name wrong.
Probably. I'm no linguist.
Well, Malk, that's really all I have for you today.
That was all the questions you got?
What do you got coming up? What are you doing? Memphis and Mays next weekend?
It is. There's going to be a bunch of people coming in town. I'll be at the shop that Friday because there's some people that want to come by and talk.
Yeah.
So I will be here. I don't know if I'll make it down there or not. I got a lot. Well, I'm going to Texas hog hunting. I'm supposed to go kill some boars. And I'm going to do
You
some
cooking
videos over there. Yeah. We're doing some videos. We're cooking all kinds of stuff. I'm getting, that reminds me, I've got to send an email. I got to get on Mossy Oak's website and check out some stuff because I'm going to take some stuff with me to cook over there. So if you go to Gamekeeper Butcher, you can look and see what I'm going to be buying. I mean, they've got some good elk. They got some wild boar bacon. They got some chorizo.
You know what I just realized? Mother's Day weekend.
That's next week. No, that's this week.
It's Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
What you cooking me?
Whatever you want. I'll cook you whatever you want. Ribeye steak. Crab legs. What sounds good? Lobster.
First two.
First two. Steak and potatoes. Usually, don't you go out to eat on Mother's Day and Father's Days when you grill something?
I don't know. I guess it depends on your mother.
Yeah.
That's what you normally tell me. You ain't my mama.
That's a fact. I got to cook my mama something.
Yeah, we are going to go see your mother. Spend some time with them. But Malcolm, that's all I have for you today.
Well, appreciate everybody tuning in. Shell, tell everybody where they can find us on the social platforms.
First of all, if we get a lot of questions from our community, we're always doing stuff on the community. It's a great place to interact with other people, like-minded pitmasters. So make sure you join the Let's Get to Cooking community on Facebook. And if you'd like to connect with Malcom, it's HowToBBQ. Wait, what is it? It's
HowToBBQRight on everything.
And of course, YouTube.
Nope. Oh, we have got that burger contest coming up here at the shop.
Yes.
It's in June. If Tyler was here, Jacob, you probably don't know the date, do you?
I do not. Oh, man, give me one moment.
But there's a burger contest, and I believe
June 15th.
the last I heard, we had one spot left. Now, it may have filled up, so if you wanted to cook it, you may be out of luck. But
$50.
I will be out there. Shell will be out there. We're going to be cooking burgers and passing them out. So all you got to do, if you want to come eat a burger, just come on up here. I don't even think you got to do anything to get a burger. Maybe just say hi. Just be cordial.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll have some stuff going on that day, but we're definitely going to pass out burgers.
Yep.
Plenty of blue plate for your burgers.
Mayo burger.
We'll have cheeseburgers. We'll have regular burgers.
I don't know what all's going to be going on, but there's going to be 20 burger teams throwing down, seeing who can cook the best burger. And it was a $50 entry, and it pays $1,000 to win a burger. So that's a pretty good deal.
That's a pretty good deal. And keep your ears open because we're probably going to start doing this a couple times a year.
Yeah.
I think our next one will be a wing contest is what I heard on the street.
That one. I'm probably not going to be passing out wings that day. I'm going to be in the back.
Judging.
Wings are my jam, man. I love wings.
So
we got that coming up.
I like these little simple.
Oh, I got to give a shout out to the American Roll. I got nominated again.
I completely forgot.
So thank y'all very much. That's an awesome honor.
What did you get? What did you get nominated for?
Biggest jerk. I don't know. No, Barbecue Hall of Fame. So that's an honor. Yeah, I was nominated, and I got nominated last year. And that's like you knew there was no way. It's all these guys that are like super famous or been doing this for years, and they throw me in there. So, but anyway, it's an awesome honor for them to even nominate you. So, and congratulations to everybody else. I know my friend Danielle is nominated. So
yeah, DVQ's nominated.
It'd be cool to go in together.
It does kind of suck to get nominated and get your hopes up and then not get in.
One of these days, just keep working hard, baby. Just keep working hard. Keep grinding. But we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We will be back next week to talk more barbecue and tell y'all what's going on around here. But until then, fire those grills up this weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Y'all do something special for the mothers in your life. And we will see y'all next time. We gone.